like, and share the video. Okay? Yes, all of that.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Women of Power radio show.
Hey y'all, we're excited to see you. Y'all already know we have an exciting show planned for y'all this evening. So use this time wisely, okay? Time is of the essence. Go ahead, like and share the video. Okay? Yes, all of that. So again, if you're in any groups, relationship groups, love dating groups, whatever, don't just share on your page. Come on, like spread the love. Share there too.
And make sure you tag 1, 2, or 3 people.
And hello. Hey everyone, what's going on? It's another beautiful Tuesday. You're here with Women of Power radio show, and we have an amazing show lined up for you guys today. I hope y'all are ready to talk about this because yes, the stuff that we're talking about tonight is going to hit home for a lot of us, especially one of the issues, because we all have that kind of sort of.
Absolutely. And so for those of you that are just tuning in, make sure you're sharing like the video as we get ready to jump into the Women of Power radio show. Listen, I hope you guys caught the replay of last week because it was bananas. It was crazy and people were helped. And that's what this show is all about right now.
Right,
this is like
that's
kind of
our
ministry, but our entertainment, but our, it's a combination of many things. And we want to thank you, all of our listeners, for coming on each week and making it interesting and offering additional advice to help people that are asking these questions. And
Absolutely.
So we have a question today, and a couple of questions today that we're going to get into. And so you guys get your fingers ready and get ready to type as Nana questions today. Okay.
Well, I always like to ask which one y'all want to talk about first. So
definitely the question.
Okay, so
yeah.
Okay, so the scenario question.
Right.
Both of them are. Okay, so we're gonna. Before we get started, let me just go ahead here for those who are tuning in, so that I can show you all what the topic is, so that you're not asking. Where is it?
Brand, you was just there.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yes. And you guys make sure you follow our social media. It's on the bottom of the banner. You'll see it a little later on in the show. What's up, Uhuru Rojo, aka T? How you doing? Thank you for joining us on tonight. Latasha Jackson, thank you for tuning in to the Women of Power radio show. So listen, you know what? We might as well just
for the effect.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we have a young man.
Where to do it. Okay.
I'm going to do a little ruffle.
Yeah.
We have a young man who wrote in, y'all. We know, once again, we love when we get some testosterone in the room because a lot of times we get, the women's perspective of things. So we have a young man who wrote in and said, hey, my girlfriend has a lot of guy friends and she won't introduce me to any of them. Now, me and my legal mind won't and doesn't are two different things. The fact that she won't means he's actually addressed it and she refuses. So pay attention to that. She won't introduce me to any of them. And she says, I'm just being insecure. Am I tripping? So the question is, if you have a significant other, to the women as well, and they're not introducing you to the friends of the opposite sex who they claim are just friends, would you have an issue with that? And what do you think he should do in this situation? Because that's a little, again, because I feel like it would be different if he said she doesn't introduce me, because that means we don't know if he's actually even told her anything or addressed it. He could just be waiting on her to see what she does, and he's noticing that she doesn't take the initiative to introduce me. But the fact that he said she won't, that means that he has said something about it and she's refusing. So to me, that makes it totally different, and that's a problem.
Well, if I may.
Yes, you must.
I personally would have a problem if I was dating a man and he was constantly like, yeah, my girl this, or my home girl this, and my friend this from school, or, I would have an issue if I'm constantly hearing that type of verbiage, but have never been afforded an opportunity to meet them. Because I feel like if there's somebody that important in your life where you're constantly, communicating with them, constantly bringing them up, constantly seeking them for advice, you know what I'm saying, hanging out with them.
Why do I not know that?
Right. I think it's imperative that I get to know them, because, a lot of people be like, I don't care if my family don't like my man, I don't care if my friends don't like him. But I think it's important that every marriage needs a community that is pro them, to help them stay together, especially when it's tough times and you like, I want to leave this. You know what I'm saying?
They know the both of us,
right.
So that they'll be able to sit here and say, wait a minute, sometimes she can be like A, B, and C. Maybe you should see things. It helps. But if you have all these friends who have never met your significant other, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it just leaves a room for a gray area. And why put one there when there doesn't have to be one there? That to me just doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. I concur with you, Nana. And the only thing I would add to that is that, like, for example, I think it leaves too much ambiguity.
Exactly. The gray.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about, the gray area.
50 Shades of Gray. Because it could go either way, you know, and I hate this. I'm not going to say every woman, but a lot of women, especially if they're tainted. And what I mean by tainted is like they've been hurt before, they've been cheated on before. Yeah. Their mind does not tend to go with like
the positive. I'm sure she's just a great friend, and I just love their relationship.
They've known each other since elementary school, and it's like, no, it's like, why haven't I met her?
Because if you've known her since elementary school, that's like your sister. So if she's like your sister, why haven't I met her? Hey, Donna. Donna said, hey, ladies.
What's up, Donna? Yeah, so I'm like, I think that I understand because he says, should he be concerned? I would say if he's asked her, can I meet them? And she has refused to allow him to meet them, then I would say yes. For me, that's an area of concern because it's either we're not as close as I think we are or as you're telling me we are in our relationship. And like I said, really, unless you're in a committed relationship, and y'all already know my version of committed, then it shouldn't really be a big deal whether you meet these people. If y'all are just dating or your boyfriend and girlfriend, then I don't think you need to meet everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because who wants to have to go through and say another one bites the dust? He wants to make sure that y'all gonna make it.
Mean, if y'all are to a point where I feel like it's getting kind of serious, then I do feel like it would help to know, because you want to see what you're signing yourself up for. Because at the end of the day, even though yes, you're in a relationship with them, depending on who they hang with, I mean, that's who they hang with. So if y'all move past that and get to marriage, the kind of characteristics of their friends that they hang around is going to be something that you're going to be around too. So it will be helpful to see a snippet of that before you actually just become a wife. And all of a sudden now you're meeting the friends. That's just that's weird.
What's up, Jaylen? Thank you for joining us on tonight. Tanya Renee Shaw, how you doing, lady?
Hey,
yeah. Hey, and so, like you said, if your relationship is getting to that point. And so I think for you, sir, that asked the question, because I think that you want to just share the question because we have a lot of people jumping on.
Okay, so for those of you who just came on, we had a young man who wrote in and said, hey, like my girlfriend has a lot of guy friends and she won't introduce me to any of them, right?
Lot?
And so he was asking because she's saying that he's just being insecure. And that, again, I feel like that's an issue because that shows that he's raised an issue to her. And instead of her actually doing something about it, she's just deflecting. And so he wants to know, was he tripping? Like, is she right in saying that he's overreacting?
Right.
Or does he have a point? And I feel like he definitely has a point.
Listen, I don't know why that word is the go-to. Like, it's for everything. If you ask a question, where were you last night? Oh, you insecure. Hey, who is this? Oh, you insecure. Look, it's not, sometimes it's just plain inquiry. It's just a plain question. It's just a, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying my thing is that when people use that blanket, every action has a reaction, right? So it's not necessarily coming from a place of insecurity. Right. It's coming from a place of ambiguity on your behavior. So they're asking for clarification. So I can't sit here and never return your calls or call you every 2 days and we're supposed to be dating or exclusive or whatever. And then be like, oh my gosh, you're just so insecure. You're always trying to come for me. I go missing for every 2 days. So it's something that I'm doing that's causing them. But a lot of times, again, people don't like to look at the part that they're contributing. They just want to blanket it with, hey, you're being insecure, which is not accurate.
It's really not. It's really not. And I don't think there's anything wrong with asking questions. And, one of I think the biggest downfalls of relationships is lack of communication. And a lot of it is hinged on the fact that people are dealing with residual stuff that they haven't been healed from, haven't been delivered from. So what you're saying is triggering something that they should have dealt with before they ever got with you. And so it's just.
And sorry, y'all. I know you noticed. Yes, Zoe's not here tonight. They're asking where she's at.
Zenobia, come on.
Taking care of
she's really not here. Her babies got parent teacher night. School just started back. And so I know a lot of parents are like, whoop, whoop. Yeah, school started back. And so, but also that puts some obligations on you as a parent to do some stuff. And so we certainly miss Zenobia on tonight. I'm sure she's going to jump on before it's over. But then again, she may not because she's got 2 meetings. So
Oh yeah.
I don't know how that goes, but I've never been to one. But Tanya Renee Shaw, thank you for inviting Carisha Springer and Mariano Bradley. Donna, I already said what's up to you. Brittany Williams, how are you, lady? Thank you for joining us on tonight. So yeah, we're trying to help this gentleman, man, in his relationship problems. But like I was saying, I would petition him to, number one, determine whether his relationship is really at the stage where he can put a demand.
That's a good question because we don't know how long they've been dating.
Right.
Yeah.
And what have they vocally established? Because sometimes, y'all, we be having relationships in our mind and in our own mind, like that's my boo, that's my man. Just because he bought you some flowers, that does not make him your boo or your man. Unless he came out of his mouth and said,
verbally
I
said,
want to be your man. I want, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want a committed relationship.
And I think it's just hard because we get it twisted a lot because, again, we've all heard since we were kids and growing up, right, that what? Actions speak louder than words, right? But I think that we end up twisting that in the sense that when we see someone or meet a guy or vice versa, we've talked about this several times, where they tell you with their mouth verbally, I don't want a relationship. I don't. Like right now, I'm just having fun. I'm dating. I'm doing my thing. All right, we hear that. But then, like she said, when he gives us flowers, he starts planning dates for us. We're doing things that couples do. He's setting out times and weekends for me. Then we don't care what he said. And I'm honest, like, oh, I'm his girl. Like, I mean, are y'all together? I mean, might as well be. We do everything else together. So then now you see him out with another female and you feel upset about it because you feel like, how is he that? But he told you he doesn't want a relationship. So again, when someone actually comes out and tells you, their mouth, as far as that goes, takes precedent over the actions. Okay,
Absolutely.
So don't look at actions speak louder than words. He's just saying that, but over time I can change them, or over time I can change her.
You can't.
That's why they gave you the disclaimer. Okay, so listen, pay attention. Okay,
listen.
Donna said I was married and it was all in my mind.
Oh, come on here, all
That's
in your
a
mind.
tough one.
Look, did you say show Tanya Renee Shaw? She said teach.
I don't know.
All right. We're going to try, Tanya. That's what we on the show for. And you guys, as our listeners, we want you to participate. If you want to try to help this young man and give him some goodly or godly advice, goodly and godly, come on, advice, go ahead and type your comments in. Because,
but even just how would y'all feel in that situation? We want to know, if that was your significant other and they had all these friends of the opposite sex and they refused and you raised it to them and they told you, no, you don't need to meet them. How would that make you feel? Would it be an issue or you wouldn't care?
I would say if we're dating, we're just dating, I wouldn't care.
Right.
Because we're just dating. We're collecting data. Okay, he got a gang of, female friends, that he said a lot. Didn't he say a lot? She got a lot of male friends. So my thing is, he got a gang of female friends. So in that case, it's a mental note that I'm making that if we do go further, I may need to meet these people or just get a better understanding of the relationship because and y'all know, we will say somebody is our friend that we was in a whole relationship with. You know what I'm saying?
Like we still cool. Anyway, why we gotta be bitter? Like I can't be cool with my, and that even brings me to another question. Let me ask this.
Okay.
Do y'all or would you have an issue if you had a significant other who was friends with their exes? Because I've been in situations where some people just felt like I'm not cool with none of my exes, so you shouldn't be cool with them. Like, why are y'all still friends? What do you mean, y'all? And when I say friends, I use the term loosely. I don't mean we're on the phone or we're chopping it up or whatever.
Right.
There's no bad blood. Like we still follow each other on Facebook. And that's basically it. I mean, if they say something from time to time, if I were to see them in public, I'd speak. But it's not like we're just the closest of friends where it would make you feel like, oh, y'all still got something going on. But do you feel like it's okay to be cool with your exes? Or you feel like once you're done, like you done. It's you cutting everybody off like that. That's it. I'm just curious because.
Well, I would say from experience, I know it's possible to have just a strictly platonic relationship with an ex as a friend. So I would not be adverse to it, but see, I'm saying in a good way. That's what I'm saying. So do y'all? I was about to say something. Say what you
I was about to say. So y'all hear that? So it's true that you can be friends with your exes. For those of y'all who feel like, no, why?
Right,
you're the only friend I need.
I'm just gonna be honest with you. That's an immature way to think. But it is possible. But then y'all can attest too that there's some people in our past that we blocked and we don't want to unblock and don't care if we ever talk to them again. So I would say that if there's an ex in your life, obviously there's something they add value, or you guys developed a really good, strong friendship while you were in that relationship, and you want to carry that on. And so it's going to take a mature person. It's going to take a non-jealous person. It's going to take an understanding person. It's going to take a realistic person, because some people are living in la la land and be wanting you to cut off everything in your life and just focus on them. That's unhealthy. That's unhealthy, and it's not realistic. So yeah. I think it is possible.
Me too.
To have a completely, totally healthy relationship.
Donna said, "I need to know them," and vice versa. So she does want to know the friends, because it would be.
But at what point? I mean, you know what I'm saying? At what point do you need to know that friend?
Brittany Williams, hey girl, she said, "That's right. That's it right there. Be sure to get a better understanding of the relationship."
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Don't y'all just been dating for 2 weeks and all of a sudden how come you're not introducing me after? Ma'am, you might not stay there for very long.
Can I get to know you? Right. Before you get to know my people.
Please hush. Okay.
Jeez.
Erica said, "Hey Queens."
Hey Erica, thank you for joining us on tonight.
Whitney, hey girl.
What's up, Whitney?
Whitney said, "Did she flat out say no, or was there an explanation to it? All my friends and family knew about my relationship with my now husband, but we purposely didn't introduce each other to anyone until after a year of dating." I love that.
Once you determined that you were ready for a committed relationship, then you introduce them. And that's what I was telling her. Like, you don't want to get in a situation where you're just introducing everybody to everybody. That's like, you can't bring nobody to your church until you know they're going to be around. Because that's
like family.
People going to be like, dang, it was a different guy last month. Like, just because we date, no, don't come to my church.
Yeah, I feel you on that, because I feel like taking
you to
church
want
is
to. 2 days and they be like, "Oh, your church house, can I come?" No. And if you do, sit in the back. You don't know me, don't sit.
We don't have to sit together.
We can't. We're not gonna sit together. When I sit next to you, it's gonna be a ring on this finger. So yeah, you gotta set these boundaries. And to some people, they may sound silly, but what you don't want to do is come across as a person that's not inconsistent, but just unstable, because that's an unstable person that every month I'm introducing you to a new boo, or every 3 months. It's like,
that's someone who needs to heal and take time to be by themselves again. Because if you skipping, that means you can't even like be in a state of just date yourself. Be alone for a second. There's no need for you to be jumping from person all the time like that. So that's a reflection on what's going on here. Okay.
It's a reflection.
It's a reflection. Tanya Renee Shaw, hey girl, she said that should be discussed before we decide to go beyond friends.
Right.
I'm okay if he's okay. It comes to trust.
Sis, that is it's such a powerful word, and it's like a bomb. You know what I'm saying? When you look at a relationship, it can explode some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people have trust issues, and they're not always related to past experiences in a relationship. It could be your father never showing up when he said he's gonna come pick you up. It could be, there's all kind of things that can cause trust issues.
Trauma, childhood trauma, period.
Right. Or a molestation, different things like that, which is part of trauma. I'm sorry. That was so
that's like the most traumatic of them.
Right. But I'm just thinking these are trusted family members, trusted friends of the family. You know, so I would say deal with those issues before you endeavor to like even pursue pursue a serious relationship.
But even dating, like, just I feel like if you know that you are not in a place of where you feel whole or where you're healed, just don't even bring someone into that atmosphere. Just don't even do it. Take the time to take care of you. It's important that you take care of you,
because what's in you it comes out.
And you want to be bleeding on people that didn't even catch you.
Whatever is in you, it comes out.
Because there's a lot of bleeding people. How many of y'all have been bloody by somebody that you didn't cut? Just me? Oh, okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
How many of y'all did the bleeding on people who didn't cut you?
Whose sins am I paying for right now? You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Who did something to you? Tell me about it.
Erica said, I don't know why.
Why
everyone is always in their feelings about meeting their family and friends. Can we at least date for a little while before we jump into knowing all my people? Now, if you've been dating for some years, like 2 or more, then okay, let's slowly start meeting them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Come on. And first of all, I'm not trying to date 2-3 years. Erica,
how long are you trying to date, sis?
Sis, it don't take 2-3 years to know whether or not you're gonna be with me for the rest of your life. Either you do or you don't.
So Kashaology, she's saying she's single, but at the same time, if you're gonna marry her, do it fast.
Not fast. I'm not saying I believe in letting things happen organically. And so I'm actually perturbed by people that try to rush you into something, rush you to be that woman, rush you to fall in love. Don't rush me. Let me enjoy the process. I mean, I'm sure there are those of you on here that are married that have started off with healthy relationships to where, you know, he courted you and you got to know him and just everything just kind of happened naturally. But these,
you know what?
Yeah, these. I think it need to be some classes.
Well, who's going to teach them?
A man.
Oh,
a man needs to teach men about
men. Okay.
about just letting stuff, and women too, about letting stuff happen organically. It's something about the organic process. This is how people who've been married 50, 60, 80 years are able to stay together because they have a foundation. But people are trying to skip that foundation.
That's why, like we've talked about before, the foundation of friendship is imperative. If you lay a foundation with friendship, it allows your bond to be stronger because it's actually built on something more than just ideas of romance and the fact that you think that they're cute, right? Yeah. A lot of times, the people want to skip that getting to know you part and just jump from, oh my gosh, we just have so much fun together. There's so much chemistry. Why don't you be my man? Let me be your girl. And you don't really know the person. And when it's built on something that just fluctuates like that, it doesn't stand, okay? Like it doesn't stand. Tanya Renee Shaw said, don't come to my church.
Don't.
If you do, we're not sitting together. Just know, praise and worship. Don't be trying to come and let's hold hands. And
no, I need to observe you from afar. I need to see, how do you worship? Do you worship? You know what I'm saying? But I really don't care about none of that until we get to a place. You know what I'm saying?
That reminds me. One time I was watching church service, right? I wouldn't even watch church service. I was there, but it was like a mega church,
right?
And they had you know how they'll show people in the congregation on the big screen because it was like one of those huge. You could tell this young man doesn't go to church. Right. So they put the screen on him and the young woman that he was there with. He gonna look at her and then try to kiss her. She moved and is looking at him like, boy, because in his mind, he's thinking, you know how we do at sports.
Oh, like at the softball.
In that moment, the whole church knew they were unequally. It was so funny because she was so embarrassed. And he's sitting there looking at her like, let the camera go away, like you were supposed to kiss me. It was so hilarious. But that's what it made me think of. Like, that's why we're not sitting together, because you're not about to embarrass me. And I've been thinking that we out here shacking and doing all kinds of things. You want to kiss, like, we're not doing that. Okay, we're not doing that.
No, sir. That's not gonna happen.
Let's see. Whitney said, you have to be very intentional. I learned that the hard way, but I got it because he changed my last name. Okay.
Oh, come on here.
Intentionality pays off. Or gave me his last name rather.
Right. You like she said, it's gotta be intentional. But this guy needs to find out what both of their intentions are, because there's a reason why she's not allowing him to meet any of her male friends. And so I know a question earlier was, did she say no? You know, did he ask her and she say no? Yeah.
I mean, the way that he worded it, he didn't say what explanation she gave, but he did say she won't do it. So that means that he's asked, but we don't know what the reason is.
And maybe she just don't see y'all where you see you.
Right.
You know, and that's possible. That's possible, you guys, for real. You could be totally 1,000. Oh. Hey, what's up, Lorenzo Sanders? Yeah, you could be totally in love with somebody and he just be having a good time.
Just different.
And you have to respect that.
Yeah.
You got to respect that. And you got two options. You could either wait until they develop the same feelings you do, or not.
Move around.
Yeah.
Donna said, speak,
and
sis,
miss
I
out,
teach.
possibly. Come on here. She said she gonna teach the class.
Oh, Brittany said, I'm rolling. He thought it was a kiss and came. Yeah, like you should have seen everyone's faces. It was so funny.
So inappropriate.
Yeah, extremely.
They probably weren't married.
No, they weren't. You could tell they were young. They were college kids. They were not. That's what made it even more funny, because it was like he was so excited. And it's like, sir, do you not know you're in the Lord's house?
Listen, let me see. Erica Everett says, yes, friendship is key. I can imagine she said like, yes, friendship is key. My husband is my everyday friend. It's a wonderful thing. So yes, a good friendship is the fundamental thing. Right. Because when you're angry, when you ready to walk out that door,
Mhm.
it's that foundational thing that's going to make you say, wait a minute, I can't leave my friend.
Yeah.
You know, let's try to work this out. Let's try to hang in there. But if you don't have if you haven't built a foundation and you just went off of, kisses, hugs,
Butterflies.
love. Yeah, butterflies. How you make me feel. For those of you that'll be real, our feelings change every day. Come on. Today I feel like I'm that. Sometimes I don't.
Mhm.
So you have to not gauge your relationship on how you feel.
Right. And that's why, even going back to feelings, for me, when I've had the conversation with my friends, because sometimes those who are not stable say, when they say like marriage is a piece of paper and they don't really understand the reasoning behind this whole unequally yoked thing. What I say is the difference, I think, that is between someone that you marry who is in Christ and someone who isn't, because we have a foundation, right? And we have a foundation or blueprint, so to speak, as far as the way that we're going to react when it comes to the hard time, when it comes to the difficult time, because I feel like, because that person is rooted right in the Lord and has an accountability to him. They're not thinking about how they feel about me. They're thinking about how they feel about him when they react to me. So if we have a fight one night, he's not going to go out and be like, oh, because I'm just mad at Nana most of the time anyway, right, I'm just going to go out and I'm going to cheat, right? At least the first thing you should be thinking about is, man, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a relationship with God, I can hear him speak to me. He can even tell me, man, why don't you go talk to her? Maybe just give her a little bit of time. She's going through this. Or even if he feels that way, he knows, you know what, I can't do that because I'm accountable. I made vows before the Lord to where I'm not going to do that. But if all I went on is feelings, the minute those feelings go, who am I accountable to? If the only thing controlling me is my flesh and my emotions, and our emotions, everybody knows, are wayward, then it just depends on how he feels that day, right, as far as how long your marriage is going to last. And who wants that?
Come on.
I don't. So,
hey, Raquel, thank you for joining us from YouTube on tonight.
Tanya said, how long have they been dating? He didn't say. So I honestly have no idea. Which could very well play a role.
Right. Yeah. Long enough for him to feel like he need to meet these guys.
But some guys be feeling like that off top because they want to kind of lock you down real quick.
They do.
Want to rush you into bulldoze.
Right.
How many of y'all have ever been bulldozed into a relationship? Has that happened to anybody to where you knew that you didn't even want one, but they just kept pressuring you? Yeah.
When I was younger, I actually went on a date with a guy who refused to take me back home until I said I would be his woman. And I said I would be his woman because I wanted to get home.
Wow.
And then he proposed to me 3 months later on Christmas Eve, while all my family, we opened our presents. And he did the whole box in the box in the box and opened the last box. I'm just like, really?
But he didn't bulldoze you into a marriage, did he? Okay, good. As long as you said no.
No, the bulldozer stopped right there.
Whitney said there are too many scenarios. We need more info, man of God.
Right.
I don't know. Hey, Raquel. Okay, from YouTube. She said, is it okay if a woman is married but never brings the husband around to outings?
You know, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a friend who was like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a dynamic that her and her husband have, which, I mean, I personally don't understand it. And I do so to a certain extent. Like if maybe he just doesn't like to be around, if there's tension or something that's underlying between them and the family, sometimes you will see that, right? But if everything is fine with everyone, but it's more so you're doing your own thing all the time as far as traveling and they're always doing their own thing, I find that a little bit weird to me. It's okay to take a trip every now and then, but like with her, everything she does is, but if you even were to look on her social media, you would never know she's married. Every trip she's by herself. It's always her and the children. And he's nowhere to be found. Her outings, her girls' nights, he's never there. But she's married, and they seem happy. I mean, when you go and talk to her, she says they're great, but you don't ever see he's a ghost. Right.
Well, and you know what? Idealistically, we all in our minds think we want to marry somebody like us. Like if I'm out going, I want my husband to be out going. I want him to, you know what I'm saying, go with me to all the picnics, go. But the reality of it is that sometimes your match is your opposite. You know, that is strong.
I want someone that I can have fun with. Because I'm goofy and y'all see how we are.
But this is family outing. So maybe.
I know, but still, like my family's just like me. So
I'm like that too. Yeah, but I'm just saying.
There's been situations in my past when I was dating somebody, right? And we brought them, when I finally did bring them around, they would just be like, girl, like he's so dry. I don't understand how y'all, because if you see my personality, even though again, opposites do attract at times, but then sometimes they're even too dry for me, where it's like, dang, like, yeah, you didn't pass the test. You're not gonna work. Because family outings and when we do game nights and karaoke, like I needed to be present. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like, I don't know. So everybody's different.
Absolutely. But I definitely want my husband to worship with me. I want him to travel with me. I want him to, or I travel with him. You know, we travel together.
So to answer your question, I think that it just depends on the dynamic of that marriage. If they're both okay with it, then it's okay. You know, unless someone is not unhappy with, someone isn't happy with it, then of course it's not okay.
Right.
Because they're married, so they should definitely
that would be an issue. But yeah.
Tanya said that's good.
Child, okay. I like you, Tanya.
Hey JJ.
Hey JJ Jones, thank you for joining us on tonight. So listen, you guys, we're going to go into a quick commercial break so we can get to our second question for tonight. Y'all ready? All right. We'll be right back.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram if you haven't already. That's Women of Power 5. Because at the end of the day, what kind of Savage Squad are you if you're not actually following us? See you there. All right.
We're back.
That was a quick little break. All right. So on to our second topic of the night. We had a viewer write in who said, like, hey, can you kind of talk about the hurdles to healing and how to regain trust, broken trust in friendships and relationships? So we're going to talk about that.
Let me read this last comment. Pastor Evan Risha, thank you for joining us on Women of Power Radio Show tonight. Pastor. And he says, I believe whatever works for that couple in particular. Exactly. Whatever works for them. If you like it, I love it. Oh. Mary Martin, how you doing on tonight? She says blessings. Thank you, sis.
All right. So going into this question about trust. Now, how many of y'all can sit here and honestly say, just being real with yourself, that you have trust issues or that you have had trust issues? That's a lot of people, right? So one thing I'll say is when it comes down to trust issues, I feel like what we talked about last week where we spoke about guarding your heart, right? And the guard actually screens and they look at the criteria and they vet to see, okay, let me look at this and look at that. Like the Bible says, you will know them by your fruit. You have to know the fruit to know what to compare it against, right?
Absolutely.
So with that being said, if we're supposed to do the same with our heart, that means there has to be a certain amount of people that you even put yourself in a position to screen, right? You can't like build up a wall and just you don't want to talk to anybody. No one can talk to you.
Yeah.
All of that, because now you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay. Yeah. Even though you feel like, oh, I'm doing it to protect me, you're actually hurting you. So that's what we want to kind of differentiate between that. But going into trust issues, so there's a couple of things that you can do in order to rebuild trust. But before we get to that,
okay,
when you had your trust broken, when someone broke your trust, do you feel like every person deserves a right to rebuild their trust with you? Or do you feel like when someone has broken their trust with you, that's it, you don't get a second chance? Like, you know, it depends on the situation. Or do you feel like every person has the right to rebuild their trust with you? I'm curious.
That's a hard one. But I will say this. Listen, you guys start typing your answers into Nana's question. I'm going to say this. I can't say every person deserves a chance to rebuild because it depends on how they show how they broke their trust, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like if somebody stole my Snicker, you know what, I might give you a chance to rebuild my trust. But there's some things that I don't know, you know.
And see, the reason why to me, because I got that question got posed to me and it kind of threw me because they tried to use the forgiveness standard in the sense it's like, well, when we do something or we commit a sin against God, he always gives us an opportunity. So in the same sense that we're supposed to forgive, then you should allow. And I said, well, I feel like that's two different things. I can't forgive you. Forgiving you does not require me to be in your presence or to give you the access to me to rebuild anything.
Right.
Sometimes whatever's crumbled needed to be crumbled.
Right.
You know what I mean? It needed to fall. So I'm okay with it being gone. It's fine. And I forgive you. And I'll just pray for you and love on you from a distance. I don't feel like you have to give the person access. But a lot of times people will use, well, if you can't give that person access, do you really forgive them? Why can't you let them get close to you? Why don't you want to talk to them if you really forgive? Because I don't want to.
So let's use a scenario. Let's say your best friend slept with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. To me, that just broke our trust. You know what I'm saying? Because I trusted you and you did this. And I'm going to be honest with you, depending on their response, like, I can't.
That's 9/11 ground zero. Ain't nothing being rebuilt.
I can forgive you, but I don't know if we'll ever be able to be friends like we were.
Yes.
And then it depends on how you respond and how you did it. We may not be able to be friends at all.
See,
you know? What?
Erasmus, that's me all day. He said you trust till you are given a reason not to, in my opinion.
Yes.
And that's how it should be. But how many of y'all know someone, or maybe you're even that person where you don't trust anyone until they give you a reason to trust them? Because I know a lot of people approach it the opposite. They're skeptical of everybody. They're paranoid on everyone about being able to trust them. They're not vulnerable with anybody because they feel like, well, I haven't really seen, or I just feel like I'm just waiting for them to do something. And then when you have that mindset, that negative story that you're always playing, as a result of it, you end up seeing things that aren't there, and you put yourself in a position to eventually see it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you should be optimistic in that sense and give people the opportunity, give them the benefit of the doubt. Just like with our justice system, how it's supposed to be.
Come on.
I'll say, because it ain't really like that.
It's not really like
that.
that.
It ain't really like that. But it's supposed to be you are innocent until proven guilty. Not guilty until proven innocent. So let's try to operate in that way.
Well, that works. It does work like that for some people. But back to what Erasmus says. Right. I think that we tend to make people pay for other sins, if that makes sense. And what that does is it prevents you from ever really getting an opportunity to know somebody. Right. Because when you don't trust somebody, every little thing is a clue. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell y'all something. I love watching Steve Wilkos or even just listening to him as I work it. I know some people say, oh, that's negative, but actually it's a teaching moment for those that, you know, are just, it's entertainment really. But the point is that there are so many people that come on there that are making people, because either they're being unfaithful or someone in their past has been unfaithful. Now, every little thing you do, oh, when I came in, he turned his phone over. Maybe he just didn't want to be disturbed. Like, let me just turn this over so that I can spend this time one-on-one with you. But for you, it's like, he cheating, you know what I'm saying? Or if he works some overtime, he's late from work. Oh, he's cheating. If he goes out with his boys, he's cheating. It's like people can make people's life a living HE double hockey sticks because your constant just accusations can wear people down and tear down what can be a very beautiful marriage or a beautiful potential marriage, you know? And so we cannot, like Erasmus said, make other people pay for the distrust you have in others. Right. You got to heal. Because I think that's what it is. It's like your wounds are still open. And until your wounds are healed, you're going to, like you said, bleed on everybody that comes after them. So heal, you guys. Take the time. It's okay. You take the time to just be by yourself.
By yourself, okay? Because when you're wounded, everything feels like salt. Everything stings. Oh, he doing this. Oh, she doing. They're not doing anything. You just haven't taken the time to heal, okay? Let that thing stand up a little bit. Tanya said, I believe to trust people until they reject your forgiveness. So as far as allowing them to rebuild the trust. Is that what she means?
I trust people until they reject your forgiveness.
Because we were saying if you've forgiven them and then you're trying to give them the opportunity to rebuild, in that sense, I guess.
And I guess some ways they can reject your forgiveness. And Tanya, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I would say, like, you've forgiven someone, but then they do the same act. So now I trust you in the forgiveness, but I cannot trust you. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope I'm right.
Donna said, that depends on the situation. Trusting is earned. So are you saying trusting is earned after trust has been broken? Or you're saying off the top, you approach it as, you have to earn my trust. Off the top, you don't trust people. Is that what you're saying, Donna? Come back and let us know.
And that's a very good question. Like, and this is for you guys to respond to. Do you trust someone off the jump?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about with Erasmus. He gives people the benefit of the doubt until they get the reason not to.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is like, because when I just thought about that, I'm thinking like, okay, let's say we went on a couple of dates. I trust you off jump. Hey, can you go pay my water bill? And I give you like $300 cash.
That's not if it take that's a little too much. We at least trust the character of the person, that they're not in your life to do you harm.
Right.
That's what we mean.
But what I mean is that just based off of Donna's comment, I think that some areas of trust have to be earned. Like there's certain
some
things.
That's what I'm saying. We don't mean on that level. We're just talking because most of the time
you talking about just foundational.
Yeah, we talking about foundational. Yes.
Okay. Allow people to make their own mistakes.
That part. Like give them the opportunity to reveal their character. Don't make up your own assumption based on a behavior that you are connecting to someone else who has the same behavior. Because that's what we do.
Observation.
That part. Brittany said, I can forgive them, but they don't have access to me anymore. See?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Tanya said,
I can forgive you, but we can't be friends. And this is in response to you, my best friend,
mhm.
or, you know, male or female, and you mess with my girlfriend. Okay.
I lived that in college.
Listen.
Raquel said, forgive them, but give me 50 feet.
Come on here.
Okay, back. Y'all remember that song? Give me 50 feet. Okay, just me. Brittany said, it's so true.
It's so true.
I totally agree.
Okay.
Tanya said, hurting people hurt people.
And I think that's in response to her statement up above. Or is that just a random statement, maybe?
I think that's just a random statement.
Okay. But it's true. Hurting people do hurt people.
And Mary Martin, hey, she said, serve everyone with a long spoon. You'll never get hurt.
So you're saying limit the access. Now this makes Mary, this makes a lot of sense. Limit the access until it's kind of like I see like a little funnel, like
guarding your heart. Again, you're letting a little bit come in.
You know what that is?
Yeah, so that you have an amount that you can at least.
But guarding
spring.
your heart sounds like negative. Like
that's what they keep.
I'm not letting you in.
What does a guard do? A guard doesn't tell everybody no, right? They let some people in, but they let some people in after they've seen that, okay, there's nothing wrong. Like the criteria, I can allow you to come through the funnel. If you don't, then you get rejected. You got to turn around. So that's all it is. Like you give them the opportunity, but it's from a distance until you see more. But when I say trust issues, again, we're just talking about the basic, just, hey, when someone comes into my life, I don't automatically think they're here to do me harm. I don't think that they're going to screw me over, because most people, when they say I have trust issues, that's what they mean. Like just off the top, I don't know you. I just met you. Okay, yeah. So I'm just waiting. Right. And it's like, whoa, I thought we were cool here. I thought we were working on something. Right. And you know what I was going to say? That comment even goes like in the marketplace as far as serving with a long spoon, because sometimes people will get on a job and just be so like, this is my job, my company, you know, this is our company, and but the company don't see you like that. And then you get so hurt when they let you go. But if you could just keep your emotions out of it, like I'm here to do a job, and that's all I'm here for. And when I leave here, I take the job coat off and I just keep going. So I think that even in the marketplace, use a long handle spoon. That's good. And let's see, Erasmus says, I always come in trusting. Initially. Right. I did once upon a time. Listen. No, I'm saying I am now, but it took me a while.
Until you start seeing stuff that triggers.
Right. And the time you said, not my water bill. Okay, that sounds like good. Who you trusting that much? You about $300. Donna said, I'm a trusting person once it's broken.
I'm sure she's going to say, that's it, buddy. Once it's broken, I'm done, son.
So to go over some things that will help you in rebuilding trust. Okay. If your trust has already been broken, okay. The first one we have is very important to have communication. Absolutely. Don't wait on the other person all the time. So depending on who made the mistake, okay, just go ahead and initiate. With there was basically like a therapist, you know, that I was talking to, and they made the comment about communication. And of course, naturally, especially if we're the ones who were done wrong, again, because we're talking about access. Yeah. I felt like there's no need for me to communicate. If you haven't initiated it because you're trying to say you're sorry, there's no reason for me to reach out to you and speak, right? But a point that they made to me, which I don't know if I truly agree with, though, they said that even if they haven't initiated the communication, you initiate it and see how they respond. And that will help you gauge whether or not you even want to keep them around after they've apologized. Because if they have already apologized and you communicate with them and they're still being distant or acting like they didn't do anything wrong, now at least you have your answer. You don't have to sit there. When are they going to say, I'm sorry? When are they going to show me? You already see it because you got it out the way. You said what you needed to say and you saw how they responded. So that's a point too, that's a point that I actually never thought about. Yeah.
And I was going to say, and that's how real communication works. You know, it's just like, hey, can we sit down and talk for a minute, you know, and just share how you feel, which like we talk about feelings will change. Right. But if you feel like someone has broken your trust, I think that it's imperative as soon as it happens, because what happens is if you keep replaying it in your mind, it starts to get perverted. You start to develop bitterness and all these different things. Resentment.
I heard the Beyonce song.
Yes. Which one?
Resentment.
Oh.
It's okay.
So, but I have. But Now I'm gonna look it up. But the point is that if you gotta nip stuff in the bud, because what does it say? The enemy, but he's like a roaring lion. He's seeking who he may devour. He's looking for opportunities to get in your head and begin to plant things that are not realistic and not true. So that's why we have got to we've got to shut it down. And how do we do that? We got to communicate. We got to say, look, this is what I'm observing. This is how I'm feeling. I may be wrong, but I need for you to talk to me truthfully, you know, and let me know. Yeah, this bothers me.
Okay, that's me. I'm going to tell you. One thing about me, I'm going to tell you. Because I can't do it's just going to stay in here and I'm just going to keep No, because it'll show even on my face and my demeanor. So I'd rather just communicate and talk about it. It says if the communication remains the same or lessens, it only creates areas for more distrust. But one thing they also said is that communication should pick up, especially in the area of trust in an actual marriage or relationship. Because if after something has been done to break the trust and the communication falls back some, or it lessens or remains the same, it only leaves more area for distrust to build, because you're thinking, okay, well, you're supposed to show me now that you are trying to do something different. So I need you to step it up. You have to step it up.
There are people who will say, I will do anything.
Oh, they say that. And the minute you say, you know what, fine.
Right. I'll do anything
you asking for
to regain.
Ain't nobody gonna do all that.
Right. Like, no, you trust is one of the hardest things to restore. I'm just going to let y'all know that right now. So all you men and ladies that are watching on tonight, trust is one of the hardest things to restore. And so when you say, I will do anything, just understand that it may be more than you think that's required to rebuild that. And the key thing is time. Time. And if you have not prayed for patience and God took you through HE double hockey sticks to get it, and you probably don't have it. And if you don't have it, then you're going to be that one like, man, you're not over it yet. You ain't forgave me yet. You're not healed yet. No, I'm not.
Triggered. I'm triggered. Because how many times I need to go ahead and get over that already. You need.
Yes, it takes time. The same way.
It's a process.
Right. The same way it took time for me to fall in love with you, it took time for us to determine we wanted to get married. It took time for us to build this relationship that we have. It's going to take time to rebuild. Come on here. To renovate, to restore. Come on. So you're going to have to be prepared to give them time. Where we at?
Agreements.
Okay. So number 3, agreements. There has to be agreements that are written down. Not just verbal agreements. Verbal agreements can be misunderstood, rearranged, or forgotten about. Because y'all know we all have short-term memory loss. It's like, did I secrete that? Yeah. Post it somewhere where you both are able to reference. Remember, girl, I'm about to slap you. An expectation without an agreement is a setup for failure. And I think that's so imperative. Like when people want to build themselves up or they want to lose weight, they always say, put something visual out there. Put a picture of what you want to look like. Put affirmations out. In this case, put a list of what you're going to do to restore that trust. So when I go get water, I'll be like, oh, snap. I forgot I'm supposed to be.
She likes or she wants me to do this more, because I've been in situations too where verbally we said A, B, and C. Then when they didn't do it and I'm sitting here and I'm just feeling resentful and I'm upset because we talked about it. They're like, wait, what? You said, I don't remember you saying that you, and all I can be is, oh no, and then you just have a whole unnecessary argument. But if after you all talk about it, you send a text to each other that you both have a copy of, you can always go back and say, no, look, remember, I said A, B, and C, and it makes them more aware. And secondly, I feel like what they said about an expectation without an agreement is a setup for failure. That is so good and just so true, because again, if something has not been established, then there should be no expectation. Period. You can't have an expectation without something being established. But oftentimes we don't establish it. In our minds, we feel like, okay, well, they should know, and I don't say anything about it. And then you get upset about it because your expectation is up here. Meanwhile, nothing was ever established. So you're mad for what?
You know, I watched that show, The Nanny, which I love.
I love that show.
Mr.
Powell.
Right.
My show.
But for those of you who watch the show or have it, The Nanny, she always comes in. The first thing she does is she tells them, give visuals to your children. You know, if you want your kids to do chores that I do with chores, she always makes a huge chore chart. And then she sits down with the family and the kids. Oh my. And goes through so they understand what it means and what are the rewards for that. Because people, whether y'all want to admit it or not, we love being rewarded. So let's say, for example, you and your man have came to an agreement. Y'all have written it down. Your husband, you've written it down.
Right. Back up psychology.
It needs to be like, and when you do this for me, I will do this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Come on here. He gonna be working his butt off trying to get this.
Yes.
Because he gonna do all that. Trust me.
Mary said behavior speaks. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does, Mary.
Another one is positive storytelling. He said it is easy for us to focus on the negative about our partner or our friends, but remember, people can change and behavior can change. If they're trying to correct their behavior, but you're still thinking negative about them, you may be holding them back, right? And then let's see. Okay, and then we already talked about that because he was saying about. So the question is, does every person deserve a right to rebuild their trust? Which we kind of unanimously said no.
No.
Yeah.
No. And yeah, no.
Yes, because forgiveness is not synonymous with access.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that.
And you know what? I'm gonna add a couple to that now.
Go ahead.
It's okay. We got 9 minutes left in the show. And so I just want to say, and I just want to go back to the time aspect of it. In order to rebuild the trust, you have to give that person the time to heal, the time to see a different behavior, if that makes sense. Because it's what you've done that's caused the mistrust. So they need time to see that that's not going to happen again. Because it's kind of like a woman that has a miscarriage. She's scared the next time she gets pregnant. You know, she's worried that, oh, am I going to lose this one too? Right. So she may be a little anal retentive. She may be like extra protective and all these different things because she's like gun shy or, you know, whatever that terminology is. And so you have to allow her that time to go through those measures of whatever it takes for her to feel safe.
Emphasis on whatever it takes for her to feel safe. There's been too many times where the offender somehow feels like they get to make the rules on how it is you heal and your healing process. If they're the ones who hurt you, again, they don't get to choose. It's on your terms. But there's been situations that I've even been in myself to where it's like, again, okay, well, I said sorry, so I don't understand what it is. Or this much time has passed. So what's the, like, I don't understand. They get us mad and frustrated at you, and you have to take notice when that happens too, because again, boundaries are for you, right? But oftentimes we will make boundaries and we will make little clauses or put little areas of our boundaries with reference to the other person about, oh, I want to put this boundary up, but I also want to make sure that they don't feel this way, because again, a boundary is for who? You. It's for you. So don't sit there and make your boundaries cater to everyone else, because what the heck was the point of the boundary? That means now you're just making, I don't know what you call those.
Non-boundaries? I don't know. Flexible. They're not even boundaries no more. They like
I don't even know
those things that go like this, but I don't know what they call it. You just there's no stability. So I would say definitely you have got to be prepared to give them time. And then lastly, okay, in order to rebuild trust, because I already said trust is one of the hardest things to restore. So you're going to have to not only give them time, but you're going to have patience. And that patience.
That's the part that kills a lot of people.
Yeah. They don't have the patience to wait it out till they can get to that place. And they don't have the patience to do what's required. And so if you don't have those two things, it's going to be almost impossible to restore health. Restore health.
But that's true. Wholeness is in health. But patience is a double-edged sword, right? Because it goes for both people. Yeah. Too many people don't have the patience to stay single and heal without jumping into another relationship or dating, because they want companionship. They don't want to be by themselves. They don't want to have to deal with the aftermath of whatever they've been through. So they want to mask it with the companionship of someone else. That's a lack of patience. And those who have offended also times don't have enough patience to allow the person to heal, because they feel like, I said, I'm sorry. You said you love me. I still love you. Okay, so let me show you. If you say you forgive me, let's get back together. Let me just show you that I'm different. I will show you when I'm ready. Okay, you don't get to tell me that you're going to show me right now. I'll tell you when I'm ready. Don't
Yeah.
come unless I send for you.
But listen, this is so funny
Mhm.
because I just thought about this, and I'm sure there's a lot of women out here that can attest to this. That maybe you've been in a situation where a man has broken your trust in him, and he did not have the patience. It was just like, come on, hurry up, get over it, get over it. But then if you break his trust,
They're not even around to have a conversation about rebuilding.
No, because they're gone. Because they can't handle what they
You
dish
want to
out.
see a cloud of dust real quick?
Right.
Breaking his trust. He's gonna be gone before you can even look up to say, I'm sorry.
And then I don't even know. Well, I'm sure there's men that know how to, restore it, allow the trust to be restored, but they don't have the patience for the trust to be restored, sometimes. So, but yeah, it's a double standard on a lot of things. And, but we're made different.
Mm-hmm.
Men and women are made different. We're emotional beings. So we have that compassion, and everything is tempered with love. And you know what I'm saying? So we have the heart to say, you know what, I'm going to give you another chance, but you're going to have to do this. A man will be like, you don't have none of that. So he just like, oh, no.
You did this to me.
Oh, no. I'm done. I'm gone. I'm like, dang, 10 years just down the drain. I'm out. But I see.
Really, Brittany? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. But I see this all the time on Steve Wilkos, where people have been together like 5, 10, 13 years, and the man cheated like the whole first 8 years of their relationship.
And then she cheats one time.
One time.
And the man just, and she want to sit here, and after everything that we've been through, everything that you put me through, what we've been through, the truth that we've been was what you did. What are you talking about? But yes.
And then you bring her and you call the show because you want to take a lot of take the test.
Come on. And that's what they'll do, though. That's the crazy part. And they'll do that.
Yeah. And Steve will be like, well, did you take one? Oh, no, she knows all about my infidelities. I just want to test her because I'm trying to see. And then if they come back, she did not tell the truth. He'll be like, Steve, I don't know. Well, what are you going to do? Man, I can't deal with this, Steve. I'm out. Yeah. So,
yeah. We've seen it.
Yeah.
Brittany said, this is my first time here tonight. Amazing show, ladies.
Oh, awesome.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brittany.
Hope to see you back.
Every Tuesday night at 8
Every
p.m.
Tuesday. Erasmus said y'all are something else. No, y'all are, well, not you, because you're.
You mean y'all as in us two, or y'all as in women?
Women. Right?
That's a whole nother statement. So while you typing your answer.
Oh, hi, Raquel. Great. So this is so entertaining yet helpful. First timer as well. Well, thank you, first timers.
Thank you for joining us from YouTube.
Yeah.
So you guys let your family members know that don't have social media that they can join us on YouTube. Absolutely. So listen, you guys, we got a couple of things we're going to say before we go. We pray that we help the individual that just wanted to know how do you heal from that. And of course, prayer and all those other spiritual aspects are important too.
All right. So if you all feel led to bless our platform so that we can continue to give you all great content and try to up the ante on the technicals, feel free to send us a donation at our Cash App at WOP Radio, which is right there. All right. We'd appreciate that. Also, if you haven't already, please take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. As you can see, Raquel tuned in from YouTube tonight. You still get included in the comments. We still see you. You're not in a room by yourself on there. So again, we don't even care if you never watch us on YouTube. Just please do it for the algorithms. Okay. Please. That's all that we ask. Please and thank you.
And lastly,
if you have questions,
submit them.
Yeah. If you have questions, submit them to our womenofpower5@gmail.com. Or if you want to, you can slide in our DMs right here on Facebook.
Slide in.
Or you can even put them in the comments. I mean, everyone's anonymous. We're not going to say, we got a letter from, unless you wanted to say your name. But it'll be anonymous, and we're not here to judge. We're just here to help. Okay? It's all done in love.
Absolutely. So listen, these are all of our social media links. So you guys make sure you go and like the Women of Power page on all our platforms. We appreciate you so much. We love you.
And please share the video if you haven't already shared the video.
And we've got a parting video for you. See y'all next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Next week. That was it.
It's the shortest video ever. But for you guys, I'm going to play it again.